Alright, so see if I can find it. Alright, start there, Jack 2. How far does that skip? Not very far at all. Not quite boring so far. Alright, so first hand is 2. There's a limp from here. So I decided to make it 5x. Just basic start position, but I've got a nice ace, and obviously this guy's limped. And I remember James told me when people limp like this, to just discount it and play the hand normally, but like add more. So yeah, so obviously get a pretty horrible flop from my hand, but we have the initiative and shit, so I see bet and take it down. This hand, obviously, yeah, so he raises here. Got 2s, so just call on the button, try and hit a set. Don't hit a set, so obviously just look at the fold immediately. So even though that's like a tiny, tiny little bet, this guy's behind us, so I just fold, don't really give it much thought. Oh yeah, so yeah, so for there, this hand get 5-7 of diamonds. I think I just fold because basically if I call, I don't really want to raise from that position with it. And obviously with these two limping, like if I call, it creates a spot where someone can squeeze on us like that. So I just didn't want to be putting myself in that position. Obviously the flop comes down really nicely for us, but you know, whatever, doesn't really matter. Yeah, so I just like fold. Obviously here 10s kind of makes it a min click up there, so just 5x and from here, and he folds. Pretty standard stuff. Alright, so ace king here, raise 3x under the gun, call here, standard miss of the flop, but I just bet half pot. Do I take it down a little bit? Yeah, I bet. I just, you know, repeat my bet. My head's up, so I'll take a stab at it. Yeah, take it down there. Ace 9 off. I think I just fold this. I think it gets raised from here, and then I just fold. Maybe? Oh, so there's a call here, so I call, just getting quite good odds. This guy squeezes, and I think we just fold. Yeah. So there's a call here, obviously ace 9 off. If I think it was ace 9 of diamonds, ace 9 of hearts, so if it was suited, probably can't call. That's it, 2 seconds. Right, 2 seconds. sorry about that. So yeah, I was saying like if it was ace-9 suited, I'd probably call. But ace-9 off, don't really want to be calling out of position. I think because with two people, ace-9 suited, we're getting decent odds to try and make a flush draw. So yeah, nothing going on here. Okay, Jack 9. Yeah, I thought about raising. I wasn't really sure if that would be the right thing to do, so I just called. This guy's obviously got a history of squeezing. I think I call if one guy calls, to be honest with you. If nobody calls, I still call. Obviously, person calls, so I call. So he checks behind Queen High here, and I think I decide to lead, do I? Yeah. So obviously he's checked behind Queen High, we've got Jack 9 of diamonds, so we've got not backdoors, we've got the flush draw. We'll brick the turn, obviously we're going to check call the flop. So I decide to lead out here. So I lead out, not too massive. We get a call. Brick the flop, brick there. I'm fairly sure I lead out again, or rebet, because I bet the turn. He's checked back flop, so he doesn't have a queen. I shouldn't have a queen in his range. Obviously the board's bricked out-ish. There is like a couple of straights that there, but he would have had the straight of the turn, unless he's like called with 8-9. So I think I bet about half pot maybe. Yeah, a little bit more than half pot, I think. Click it up with like a little bit. And then I just bet river, obviously bluffing. Yeah, just obviously he's checked back the flop, so he shouldn't have a queen a lot of the time. Shouldn't really have a lot. I bet the turn, so just continuing that story on the river. And he folds, so happy days. Seven. Fold that 5-6 and thingy there. Alright, ace king. Ace king and small blind, okay, so whenever Max finishes it I'd skip, but I don't want to risk losing anything really. Right, so obviously he's a limp here again. He's limped a few times. And another limp. So, yeah, I make it 7x, basically, because 5x, 6x, so maybe it's a little bit too big, but, you know, not too bad. So, yeah, I make it next. Okay. Obviously, we brick the flop, but we're heads up. I've raised pre, so I should be c-betting this. I assume I do c-bet it, yeah. A little bit less than half. And just a fold. Okay. Smooth sailing. Queens here. So you raise here. Should be 3-betting this. £2.20. Oh, so I raised 30 and then he raised it to 80. So 4-bet. Obviously just folds there. Okay. Definitely don't play that one. I'll play 8s though. Okay, so 8s. 3x. Fold. Call. Oh, actually this is a big hand. Spoilers. Yeah, this hand's kind of a weird one. So pretty good flop. And then this guy like leads out for over half pot, I think it is, or maybe Sky says it's half pot, but he leads out, yeah, for £1.43. I'm not really sure what to do at this point. Like, I think James said when people do this, to just kind of like put them to the test. Did he? I'm not sure what he said. He definitely didn't say put them to the test, because it's not something he did. It's been a while since I played, but I think he said like to try and when people do this shit. I think it was when people like raised quite small. Anyway, not really sure what to do in this spot. But I decided that I probably shouldn't just call. So I raise. I make it £4.06. And then this guy calls, and obviously that was like a bit of a weird one. Because I was a bit like, well, what the fuck can he have there? Obviously, I was like maybe 5-7, 6-8, that kind of hand, or there's 3-4 as well. But it was a bit of a weird spot. And obviously, the 6 is kind of a good card for us, but it's the hand's like really weird. Like I wasn't really sure what to make of this hand. So anyway, he checks. Like I attempted to check, and I'll be honest with you, I probably should have because I just didn't really know what to make of this hand. I think I just keep betting because I'm like, well, ultimately, like I don't like the hand. It's a bit weird. Like this guy calling behind. It's like I don't like it, but at the same time, my hand's pretty strong. I've got an up and down draw at this point, but like, eight should be ahead a lot of the time as well. And he snaps me off. This guy folds. River is an ace. And to be honest with you, I have no idea what I fucking do with this hand. No idea at all at this point. I don't put him on many aces. He could have a set. I don't think he has a set based on like what he did on flop because he would have just like 3-betted, I think. But then again, he's not worried about a lot. And then, yeah, obviously, he could have a baby straight. But again, maybe on the turn he just puts it in or something because of like the fact that he straight could easily get beaten. I don't really know what to make of this hand. It was, yeah, at this point I was kind of confused about what was going on. So I check, which I probably shouldn't be doing, but I wasn't really sure what to do, to be honest with you. It felt like a really tricky spot. So I check. I actually just let it time out, so yeah. And then he makes it like £14-15, something like that. Let's see, ace queen there as well. Yeah, so he makes it £13.50. And like, I don't put him on an ace. I don't put him on a set. And I'll be honest with you, like, I don't know. I didn't know what. Maybe I don't know what to put him on. To be fair, like I thought it was very easy. You could have a set, and I did kind of feel like I was beat. But at the same time, I couldn't really think of many hands that were beating me. Like because all the hands that he's cold calling the button with, like on that flop, like they don't then like call the turn. Like they probably get it in on the turn because the turn is brought a diamond. So three was straight. It's like he hasn't flopped a straight there, so maybe he's got 3-4. I just think he'd probably try and protect his hand. Like I don't know, maybe he does call the turn. But I couldn't really put him on a hand like that. I could realistically say, yeah, he's probably got this. Like I didn't like it, but at the same time, I kind of thought my hand was just. Maybe he's a bit too strong to fold. Like, he could have 2 pair and stuff like that, but I was kind of thinking that maybe he has, like, 6-8, 7-8, like, I thought maybe he was just overplaying a 7. And then obviously, betting on the river with that ace coming out, it was kind of hard to actually think that, like, like, obviously I don't think he's got an ace at any point in his hand, so I'm thinking maybe he's got 2 pair, or he's got a straight. But, like, he could also have, like, a combination of 7s. He could have maybe had like 5-6 or like 6-7, something like that. But I couldn't really put him on a hand. So I call, and obviously I think it's probably a bad call, but I just genuinely don't really know, to be honest with you. So I call. Eventually, I was really tempted to fold. I think I just got the better of myself and thought like I just couldn't really think of much that he could have. So I call, and he's got 9s, which is a weird one, to be honest with you. It was really surprised me that he had 9s there. Yeah, so I wasn't really sure what to make of that, and I was like, 9s is so, like, it's so bizarre that he has 9s in that spot, and I guess it makes sense. Like, maybe I should just shove river and try to bluff that ace, but I just couldn't think of a hand that he'd have, to be honest. It was really difficult. Obviously, him betting river there, kind of a weird one too. Because I think based on how they've played on the flop and stuff like that, like 8 is kind of like the bottom of my range. If anything, I should have better than 9s, like 10s, jacks, queens, kings, aces, you know? So it was kind of a weird one. And like, I think on balance, maybe I'm unlucky that he's bet 9s there, and then I'm not good. I'm not sure. I'd be interested in your guys' thoughts. This board, I think, basically, obviously, raised pre, bet flop. I think I just gave up on the turn. It's a bit of an awkward board. There's not really much going on for me, so I just gave up on the turn. I only deposited £50, so I couldn't top up for the max. And yeah, he just leads, and I just give up. 6-8, like that. Ace 4, King 6. Yeah, so obviously just check my option here. Ace 9. Oh, this is a bit of a weird one actually. So he leads out. Wasn't really sure what to do at this point, so I just called. I think just like with him leading like that, I thought raising would just put my hand really face up, and I was only going to get called by like better, really, just because obviously it's a weak ace. I don't think he's got an ace, but I also don't really think that there's any reason for me to raise. So again, he bets, and I just call, and the river comes like that. And again, he bets, and like, maybe I should be going for a raise, but I just couldn't really think of like the many hands that call that. I couldn't think of anything that would call that I'm beaten. Maybe ace 3, and then I'm like, maybe he's trying to get a couple of chops off, but they're not going to fold. So like this, well, ace 3 is a chop as well actually. So I just couldn't really think of anything where if I raise here, I'm going to actually get called by worse. So I just decided to call. Like, I don't think there's any merit to be raising here, and obviously he's got 7 deuce, he flopped a flush draw, and then just kept bluffing, I guess. Okay. Okay, ace 4, diamonds under the gun. I think I'll just fold that again. Like, I don't know if that's like a bad thing to be doing, but I felt like it probably was bad to be raising from that position with ace 4 diamonds. Jack 4, I just fold that. Just confirm I fold it because it is the kind of hand that maybe or me would have kind of punted on. Alright, ace queen. So yeah, I've 3 exit under the gun, 2 callers, call there. I basically just decided to give up immediately. Like, I've got the gut shot, but I think that board hits their ranges a lot better than mine. Well, it hits my range too, but I think the board just hits their ranges. You know, especially. Yeah, I just think it's a very wet board. I don't think there's any point in betting. I'm not betting for value, and I don't think that it's going to go full fold a lot of the time. So obviously I check behind. The turn doesn't change anything for me. It goes check. There is like a case for betting, but again, it's just such a wet board that I think a lot of the time I'm going to get called. People are going to see rivers, so I just decided to give up. Like, maybe ace queen's good, and if it's good, then I'll win the pot. But I don't think I'm going to get anything to fold. The river comes here, and again, I just decide that, like, basically ace queen might be good, but nothing better. I'm not getting anything better than that to fold, so I don't see the point in betting, and I'm not getting any value from anything worse. So I just check, and he's got king deuce, and obviously he's not going to fold flop, and I'm not going to bet turn, and he's not going to fold river either. So, you know, getting money saved there. I don't play that 10-7. I was pretty tight, to be honest with you, so yeah, just a raise and 7 deuce on the gun. Right, 4s here. Yeah, so 3x, all in, so yeah, fold that. Ace queen here, 3x from the button, and folds. King queen. Yeah, so, see, he's made it more than 3x, so I call. Probably shouldn't be doing that. I probably should be 3-betting it, but I don't know, actually. Quite early position, so I call that. Can maybe be something you tell me about how you feel about how I played the hand, to be fair. Because looking back, maybe I should be three betting him, but he's quite short, so a three bet I probably have to call the shove. Anyway, the flop's a total dud. I think he just shoves, and obviously just fold. So I'll wait for him to do that, and then yeah, so I obviously fold. And yeah, he actually gets caught by ace 5, and then alright, so jack 10 I raised late position. This kind of bet's pretty shit, to be fair. Well, we are heads up, so maybe it's not that bad, but I raised late position, and then decided to c-bet so quite small, and then yeah, he calls, and I just give up to be honest with you. He turns up with like 9-6 or something, but I just give up and stop betting. But yeah, he floated me with 9-6 suited, maybe 9-6 clubs I think it was, and I just didn't bet anymore. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have took this opportunity to bet the river, to be fair. But yeah, he floated me with 9-6 clubs, and I just let him have it. Right, ace 10. This one, obviously, getting a good price, so I call. The flop is, obviously, I've got a gut shot. I also had clubs, and I think I said to myself, I think I said to myself that if he bet, depending on the sizing, I would peel one, just purely because I had the gut shot and I've got backdoor clubs. So I did say that I was going to peel if it was like a decent size. But it actually goes check, and then that, returns that. I just check again, do I? Yeah, just check again. Obviously ace 10, raise 1, right, 4. It's probably a good spot to lead into. I just decided to check. Ace 9 high. Yeah, I did think that it was probably a good spot to lead into, and I didn't, and I probably should have. So yeah. King Queen. See, standard 3x button. Fold. King Jack. Again, another raise. 3x. I got re-raised. Again, yeah, we're in position, but not suited. King Jack's not exactly going to be great against a re-raise like this, so I just give up. Can maybe play that in position, but I decided that I didn't think. Sorting out my Sam Fender. I didn't play that Queen 7. 9. Oh wait, I did play that Queen 7. Oh right, so I just checked. Oh yeah, actually, I checked. He checked to me, and then I actually bet half pot. Yeah, and he just folds, so little pot there. Jack 9 off, past that. Threes. Oh yeah, I think I went to raise, and I didn't realise that he'd already raised, so I was like confused about why I couldn't raise, because obviously I was playing like 30p here. I come to that conclusion, then call. See bet, and just fold. Jack 3. Just don't play that. Sevens. Okay, sevens. Again, I raise sevens. 3 callers. I just give up. Like, pointless. I give up the hand pretty much immediately. I bent with 4 people with sevens. Sixes. Just get a walk with that. Okay, ace jack. Raise. Oh yeah, so the flop comes quite well. Remember when James coached me a little bit. He said basically like, just bet, don't play your hand slowly, just keep betting. People are going to call a lot of the time, so did that basically. I did decide to check back the river, just because a couple of straights have got there, a flush has obviously got there, and it's like, how much value do I think's left? So I actually decided to be a bit safe, although maybe I'm just being a pussy at this point, to be fair. But I actually checked that river, which may be a mistake, although it's quite a wet board. Yeah, I probably should be betting this river actually, but I checked back. Yeah, it's called flop. It's called turn. I mean, I know I've got the ace of spades, but like, yeah, there are straights, flushes. You know, there's also like Jack 8, Jack 10, although I guess he's probably leading rivers, but you know, I don't particularly know that for sure. So anyway, I check behind, and he's got ace 10, I make a little note of that. And that's the same dude that had those 9s earlier, so like, you know, starting to maybe think that 8's hand wasn't that bad in hindsight. Although, in fact, you know, Anyway, yeah, so we get a raise to £1.05 here. I think I just fold this. Do I? It's going to be a nice hand to peel with, but like, I don't know. I think I just fold. Oh, no, actually. Fucking, it was a parcel. Pauline had one for us. It got delivered yesterday when I was out. So there was a parcel, so I didn't actually get a chance to play that because I wasn't sat there. But maybe peeling that queen 9 isn't too bad in position. Maybe I should be 3 bet. Peeling's probably okay. But it is a spots where like people can like, you know, squeeze from the button, squeeze from their position. So maybe I should be 3 betting it. It's quite a nice hand. Plays well. Anyway, get a min click here. Call. So obviously I call. Flop second pair. Yeah, so I don't fold. On the flop, he leads, and obviously I call. I've got the jack. He checks. I've got the jack of hearts, but also obviously like, you know, not really that, so I just bet. He's checked, you know, he's let out and then he's checked, so I'm kind of okay with my hand at this point. I think I've probably got the best hand a lot of the time. So obviously I call. Obviously I call flop, and then I'm happy enough to bet turn, and he folds. 3x that. Fold. BLK bullets. Calls. Oh yeah, I was looking at this because I was like, what the fuck did he have? Yeah, sorry about this. New technology. Alright, okay, so I bet flop. And he called and then he led turn, so I just gave him. This. What do I do here? There's a spot where I had ace 8 suited and I folded it. I don't think it was this spot though. Yeah, so it wasn't this spot. So ace 8 suited. Raise. Call. Not a great flop. Obviously, we flop top pair. I'm fairly sure I bet half pot into this. Oh, checked. It's not a good check. I don't know why I checked that, to be fair, now that I think about it, but I guess being safe. Obviously, once I've checked and diamond comes, I can't really do anything, so yeah, check again. No diamond, so win that. Oh yes, a weird one. So, big blind basically, limp, call, well check. All checked on that. Again. And the final deuce comes, so I bet quite chunky. I think I just bet like almost pot, yeah, like. Yeah, no need to slow play. can maybe raise against that big blind with queen 8 off, but and yeah, I get raise. I just sort of sigh and I'm like, well, you know, can't really fold trips for what it is, but not overly happy about the situation. But yeah, just like, yeah, and he's got a better deuce. But I guess he could have a worse deuce if that's what we're talking about, if that's what he's turned up with. But yeah, I can't really be folding trips, even though I wasn't really happy about it. But yeah, not exactly a big decision for 60 pence, is it? This. So, you know, call that and raise this with this flop. I think he's like 3x it. I'd probably be tempted to just fold, but with only min clicking it and me already having £5 invested, I'm happy enough to flip the 15 in because I assume this guy's probably going to call quite a lot of the time too. So, you know, decent implied odds to, you know, flop top pair here. So I bet, of course. And you bet most spots where it's heads up. Turn 2 pair, check again. Yeah, just like make it £2. Slightly chunky, but there's like a flush draw there and stuff. Yep, so then he folds. Again, min click, no, so just call button. I don't know if maybe I should be like thinking about like 3-betting these spots, or if I should just be calling. Like, probably feel more comfortable just calling and trying to find, you know, play post flop. But looking at it here, I'm like, you know, a couple of times there I'm just peeling off. But at the same time, like I'm you know, I'm getting decent. Well, I'm getting the right price every time. Yeah, Jack 10 versus Ace Queen. Ace 10 suited. So again, make it 3x. Yep. So flop an ace. Check to us. Standard C bet. Call. Obviously, we're pretty happy with the hand still. We've obviously got the heart draw as well as the. So make it slightly over half pot. And he folds. Calls a lot of flops, this gentleman. 10-6 off, so some muck that. Ace 7 here. I think it folds to me, and obviously a 3x it. And he folds, I think. It's 4. I think 3x is it, and I just fold. No, 2.5x is it actually. Yeah, I just thought maybe I shouldn't be folding there. See what you think about that. I don't mind it really, because you know it's not going to play well out of position that much. So yeah, I just fold there. Alright, so yeah, I got a walk there with 7 deuce, and then I pick up jacks in the small. Can't really remember what happens in this hand, to be honest with you, so we'll find out. I fold, so I just 3x it in my own time. Yeah, and he folds, fair enough. That's why I don't remember it, because it's just a total fucking non-hand. Jack Queen. Oh yeah, so this is an interesting one actually. So I get Jack Queen. This guy's obviously min clicked it again. He's been doing that quite a lot. So I decide to raise and make it 80 pence. I believe I got 2 callers. Obviously BLK Bullets calls. He's been peeling a lot, and this guy calls. Yeah, call 774. Obviously, I took the initiative pre, so I'm actually quite happy to see bet that flop. I'll find out pretty quickly if I'm behind, but I actually see bet you know, a little bit more than half pot, I think it was. Maybe my sizing's a little bit big. Didn't think about it, but it goes full fold. I was quite happy with that one. So I don't play king 3. Is it suited on the button? Maybe this is the one where I folded. Oh, I don't think it would. I don't think I would have folded this. Surely not. I made it 90. Yeah, I do fold this actually. Yeah. Probably shouldn't be folding there, but it was an under the gun open. Yeah, fold. Maybe he's on maybe he's on a little bit too nitty in that spot actually. Right, what happened here? 7-5 suited. Yeah, raise to 30. I think he calls. So no. All right, yeah. So I call this. Getting a decent. Yeah, I call this. Like it's just me and him. No more damage. I've already got 10 invested, so I'm happy enough to call. See what the flop is. Flop quite well, so I call. Check that. I think he checks behind me. Yeah, he checks. Obviously, I river the straight, so I just bet very chunky. That 10's hand obviously is pretty standard. Bet chunky, and he just folds. Yeah, he just folds. 8-5 suited. Yeah, I assume I come along for the ride. He raises, he folds, and I just fold as well. Out of position, and yeah. Again, like, the temptation to play those kind of hands quite high, and like, I don't know if I should be or not. My instinct just told me, I was just trying to like play tight and play post flop and stuff, and not peel off too much like that. I think if he calls, obviously call with the 8-5, but once he folds, like I don't feel like there's enough, like the odds aren't very good to do that anymore. But I think if he called, then I would have definitely called. So yeah, 9's here, again a limp, so just 5x it and folds. Ace Jack. I mean, everyone folds, so must have made it 93, and then everyone just folds. King 10 suited. So I must have played this hand at some point. Right, so King 10 suited. Come on, dude. Right. So I think I call, but can probably raise this. It's a pretty strong hand, blind v blind, and I'm in position. So I definitely call, but I probably should be raising now that I look at it and think about it. So yeah, just call. Pretty, you know, non-flop. I think he bets, and I think about peeling, and I'm like, obviously I've got the backdoor spades, and obviously I've got 2 overs, but ultimately I think I decided to just, yeah, miss. But again, like, if I 3-bet, there's totally different. The hand just plays out totally differently, and you know, maybe he's got a good hand, maybe he hasn't. Don't never fucking know at this point, but I think King 10 suited is probably quite a good hand to play in position. Heads up, and I shouldn't just be calling that. I should be 3-betting it. So yeah, 6s. No raising. Oh, I did. I raised pre because it was my small blind, and then I just c-bet the flop. Obviously, I'm not betting for value. It's more. I wouldn't say to see where I am. It's more that I just don't want to get outdrawn. By like, you know, 2 overs or something like that. Just kind of throw a bet out there. I've already sort of set the idea that I've got a decent hand, or I've got a hand that I'm happy enough to raise with anyway. Just throw a bet out. Maybe the hand can just go in there. Obviously, if he calls, I just give up immediately. But yeah, it wasn't to see where I was. It was more to not get outdrawn. Because obviously, you know. Anyway, I'll call this. I assume. Yeah. Total non-flop, so I guarantee give up. Right, I just fold this. Okay, ace 10 out of the gun, 3x. Flop this, so I have to c-bet, and everyone just folds. Yeah, ace 10. I think everyone just folds to me. Yeah, everyone just folds. Okay, queens. In the big. Min raise. So we re-raise that. I'll make £2.10. Maybe it's a little bit big. Well, maybe not. Pretty innocuous flop. So I just bet again into it. Yeah, take it down a little bit. But I think he just folds. Yeah, he just folds. Fours. Oh yeah, I kind of goofed this one a little bit. So yeah, I raise pre. Queen King 3. I c-bet. C-bet small. He calls. Obviously he doesn't really have a lot left. He has £4.75 left. Because he's called the flop, I actually decide to turn my hand into a bluff and try and bluff that ace. Obviously I've raised pre. He's called flop, but yeah, the ace is a decent enough card to represent, you know, don't really think he's going to be that strong. So I decide to raise 120? Yeah, 150, so I bet like just a little bit under half pot. Maybe with his stack size and that, I probably shouldn't be doing that, I should be giving up, but the ace is a good card to keep representing. It's pretty, you know, given that I've raised pre and stuff, it's a much better board for my hand than it is for his, in my mind anyway. So I bet, and he shoves, and obviously I have to fold. So maybe I shouldn't bet there, but I don't mind it, to be honest with you. Maybe I should. Yeah, totally not much going on here. 6-5. So I assume I'll probably call this because I'm getting a pretty good price. Ah yes. So yeah, so I flop the up and down draw. Let's go backdoor clubs. Oh yeah, right. So anyway, so flop there, 2 pair. So he's bet. I just call. Turn the flush as well. Flush draw. Let's see. So now I've got 5-6 up and down draw, and then I've got the flush draw. I was thinking of check raising, so check, and he calls. I think about check raising, and I'm like, it's a bit of a weird spot. I do think about check raising, but obviously I haven't got anything at the moment, but I've got a lot of outs to hit. I'll consider check raising for a little bit, and then I you know, doesn't seem like much point in check raising necessarily. It's like I get it ready and I think about it, and then I'm just like, I don't know, I just call. Anyway, the rivers of queen. Now I've called 2 streets, but yeah, it's so basically I've missed completely. But I decided that the queen is probably quite a good card to represent. So I decided to lead out into him basically because he's bet that, so he can't like that, and he can't like that. I've whiffed completely. It's my only chance of winning the hand, and I just kind of decide basically to throw out a bet based on the fact that like my draws missed, but like a lot of draws did miss, so it's likely that he could have, you know, some draws on this board that did miss. I don't think he's got a queen because he bet the flop, unless he's like, you know, ace queen sort of thing. So I decided to just lead out in the hope that I can represent that I've got a queen, I've got a pretty decent hand, that I've like slow played. So I decided to bet out. Probably just I don't know, maybe it's just like got a bit attached to the hand because I had so many outs and then I missed. But I just decided that like it might be a decent spot to try and take the pot. Just based on the fact that it's maybe an awkward board. In hindsight, maybe the fact that there's a second queen there means that he can call with the hand that he has. But I think I can fold out like a lot of 6-7s, 7-8s. Like there's a lot of combos of 7s there that I can get to fold. You know, and then like, you know, there's other 5-6s, there's 3-5s, and then maybe there's even like your ace-4s, that sort of hand as well, that I could get to fold. But anyway, he calls, got ace-7. Like, that's a pretty strong hand to be fair. You know, it's going to be part of his calling range, but maybe, like, maybe I've just run into the top of his range there. Like, I don't necessarily think that leading out that river's that bad, to be honest. Obviously, you can let me know how you think about it, but I don't think it's that bad of a lead. When I did it, I was kind of like, you know what, it's not a bad spot to represent trips here. 8-9 suited, I think I fold this, but I probably should be opening this. You know, we're quite short, it's quite a nice hand. We're just not here. It's a weird one, that. I probably should be opening that. Queen King. Yeah, so I decided to be a bit brazen here. You know, I'm in the button. It's only one raise. Pretty strong hand. So I re-raise. Maybe a little bit too much. Maybe £2 actually kind of okay. Yeah, £2 would be alright. So yeah, re-raise quite chunky. He folds. Okay. He raises under the gun. I assume I fold. I should be folding. Yes, okay. Right, this is actually the biggest hand I play. So again, 75. King Queen suited is obviously stronger than King Queen off. So I do the exact same raise again, which, you know what, fair enough, at least I'm consistent. I think it's still maybe a little bit too big. It's not bad, but anyway, I raise. He calls. Okay, total brick board. So he checks, and obviously I've raised pre, that sort of thing. So I raise, I bet, same bet again, £2.40, it's totally fine. And he calls. So the Ace of Diamonds, unreal card for me. Obviously got a 10, got diamonds. And with him calling on that flop, maybe he's like a king or a queen's there as well. I obviously keep betting, mostly because I can rep that ace. If anything else, I can definitely rep the ace. I can definitely rep a strong hand. I have a pretty strong hand, to be fair. It's just the only strong hand I have that isn't paired. So he checks to me, and I bet again. Yeah, I bet really chunky. Maybe too chunky, actually. Maybe that's too big. But I bet £6. And he calls. The river's a total blank. Now, it's kind of obvious what probably happens at this point, but he checks. And I just decided to rip it in for the full £15. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not, but obviously, like, in my mind, obviously I've bricked the diamonds and I've bricked the straight draw, but I raised a 3-bet and pre for like £2.40. So there's a lot of aces in my range. You know, there's Ace King, Ace Queen, you know, maybe Ace Jack, not very often. Aces, Jacks. Like, there's a lot of strong hands in my range. And to be honest, I wasn't really thinking a lot about what he had, but maybe I should have been. But ultimately, because of the money in the pot and because of the fact that I bet flop, bet turn, I decided that my only real option is to shove river. Like, I can give up, but I just think that I probably can't give up that river. Like, yeah, I've bricked everything, and obviously I have king high, but I've told the story of somebody with quite a strong hand. So I shove. Yeah, in this hand, I've turned a set. Everyone's fold. Everyone's checked to the flop. And he's bet, so I've raised. So anyway, yeah, I shove this. So obviously the biggest hand of the day that I've played. And I get called with ace queen, so he floated flop, hit his ace. And I'll be honest with you, I can't imagine he was particularly happy about calling. Like, I think it's one of the situations where he has to call, but he's definitely not happy about it. And obviously, you know, maybe I'm a little bit unlucky that he has ace queen and the way it fell. I don't think I played the hand particularly bad. Obviously, you can let me know, but I just think I kind of have to shove that river for what I have left and what's going on and stuff like that. I just, like, it's obviously one of those where I've lost, but I don't think I played the hand badly. You can let me know what you think of that, obviously, but yeah, I don't think I played it really badly at all. You know, I'm representing some strong hands, and I think ultimately turning up with that is probably the worst. Like, I think the worst hands that I'm probably realistically having in his mind, he's probably chopping with, maybe, unless it's like a complete like air bluff, which is like what I've done. And obviously, yeah, I go to bet, and then I realise that I've only got that, so I just shove, and he folds, and that's the end of the session. Yeah, so overall, some interesting spots. I'm not sure how well I handled them or how well I played, to be honest with you. I don't think I did anything crazy, but maybe you can tell me that. But yeah, that's that.